Many JEE and NEET aspirants are working hard, but many are unknowingly following misguided learning strategies. These strategies don't just slow down the learning process, but they silently damage the chances of success. I have seen many students watch a one shot video on a topic in chemistry, or physics, or mathematics, and they feel like genius after watching the videos, but couldn't solve a single previous year question the next morning. This is because they passively receive information. What they experience is actually the illusion of competence. You are practicing passive recognition. You recognize the formula when you see it on the screen, but your brain has not built the neural wiring to deploy that formula in a new high pressure context. Or when a context demands you to apply the formula with little change and you find it difficult to apply it. To succeed in JEE or NEET, you don't need a better memory, you need a better schema. A schema is a structured network of knowledge in your brain. It forms when new information is connected to what you already know about the topic. Instead of storing the information in isolation, if the information is connected to the previous knowledge, and learning becomes effective. So with a strong schema, your brain can retrieve, apply and adopt concepts quickly, especially while answering new or unfamiliar questions. If you want more details about how to form schema, you can watch my video, 4 Steps to Strong Memory and Deep Learning. Before we move to the next challenge, I must clarify how using one-shot videos usually results in shallow learning. But they can be used correctly if you understand the learning process. If you have zero knowledge on a topic, a one-shot video provides high-level summary of the topic. It gives your brain clarity and direction to learn. And this gives a boundary to the brain, and you will get a clear direction when you learn the topic. But the misguided strategy is many students use one-shot videos as a primary revision tool right before the exams. This is actually the failed strategy. When you listen to others without actively revising your own notes, you create cognitive friction. You have already processed a concept in your own specific way. When you revise by reading and through mental rehearsal or by recalling, memory retrieval and reconsolidation happens naturally and effectively. But when you watch a video, you are forced to process the teacher's understanding of the topic. You are witnessing their mastery and you are not building your own knowledge or your own schema. And this affects learning, and this would end up in shallow knowledge. Another misguided strategy is the desire to know answers without deeply processing the knowledge. We live in an age of instant answers. When a physics numerical gets tough, what is your first instinct? You reach for your phone and you Google the solution within seconds and you feel happy because you got the answer. This feels efficient, but it is biologically damaging learning. Your brain is wired for getting immediate pleasure and immediate result, and that is the reason why you are happy when you get the answer. Scientifically speaking, this prevents deep learning. Deep learning requires a desirable difficulty. By looking up the answers instantly, you short-circuit the biological process of discovery. You have placed a floating fact in your head with no hooks to hold it. It's like trying to hang a picture on a wall without a nail. The moment the exam stress hits, you forget everything because the idea has no anchor at all, for which you have to embrace desirable difficulty. Try to solve the problem. When you struggle to find a solution, your brain rewires itself to integrate that knowledge into the existing schemas. Then even if a question is complex or masked differently, you will answer it easily. Your brain is actually a high efficiency, energy saving machine. If you learn something today and if you don't revise it, your brain performs synaptic pruning and it will delete that information. It assumes that information was a one-time event and deletes it from the memory. You are not saving time by skipping revision. You are wasting the hours you already invested in learning. The fix is spaced repetition using active retrieval. It's not about rereading your notes or rereading passively. You have to close the book. Then you have to rebuild the concept from memory. Whether it is Krebs cycle or Newton's law, if you cannot recall it, you do not truly know the topic. And in that case, you have to get back to learning again, and you should get clarity after learning. And this kind of learning will really help you to integrate the newer knowledge with the existing knowledge. The information will be moved to the long term memory. Every time you pull information out of your memory, you strengthen the connections, you stabilize the schema. That's how temporary learning becomes permanent. Then another learning problem is because of time constraints, many of you go hunting for shortcuts and tricks. You switch from one YouTube teacher to another, searching for a magic method, but there is no such magic methods to learn anything deeply. This creates a massive extraneous cognitive load. Your brain is spending more energy learning the teacher's style than learning the subject. Shortcuts create a rigid memory. A trick may help you solve one specific problem, but exams like JEE and NEET test your understanding of concept, not your ability to recall tricks. Without a deep structured schema, you won't recognize the same concept when it appears in a different form. Every variation will seem like a completely new problem, and that's when panic sets in. And that's the reason why you say that the exam is very difficult. But then if you integrate the newer knowledge with the existing knowledge, and it will be easy for you to attend complex questions. While learning, you have to stick to one code source, that is your textbook, and use everything else as a support beam, not a permanent replacement. Finally, remember that your schemas are finalized when you sleep. During sleep, your brain performs biological audit. It decides what was integrated and what was isolated. If you are an all-nighter, you are essentially hitting delete on everything you studied that day. Stop being a student who just cover chapters. Start being a student who integrate ideas. The next time you find a complex problem, don't reach for your phone. Reach into your mind. Build the schema. Mastery is not a gift. It is the biological result of the right process. Your brain is the most powerful supercomputer on the planet. Stop using it like a basic calculator. Thank you.